History. There's nothing quite like getting back to the basics of who we are, where we came from, and finding an origin story for all of the unique things and persons of the great and wonderful planet Earth. Now, I might not be able to teach you everything you need to know about the Alamo or the Tudor line of succession, but what I can give you is a thorough history lesson on motorcycles. Welcome to class, baby yams. I'll be your professor for the rest of your two-wheel death machine-loving life. No textbooks or syllabus required, but you are going to want to smash that subscribe button and slap that notifications bell to make sure you get your weekly lesson delivered right there to your ADD machine. Don't be that guy who isn't prepared for the pop quiz. Ring the bell. Be prepared. Feel like a better person. Today's lesson is shrouded in mystery. The rarest bike on Earth is just that. The rarest, most mysterious motorcycle ever found. Seriously, most people agree that this is hands down the rarest and one of the most strange bikes to ever exist. The mystery dates back over 100 years ago and still has historians scratching their heads looking for definitive clues. As of 2019, here is what we know. This bike, known as the 1916 Traub motorcycle, is currently on exhibit in the famous museum Wheels Through Time. Dale Wachsler, the owner, purchased the bike from a collector in 1990 and has held on to it as the crown jewel of his collection ever since. And who can blame him? The Traub is in pristine condition, and Wachsler has been known to ride it pretty regularly. Now, let's fill in some gaps. We're going to need to jump back in history for this one, so hold on to your sidecars, stash some extra sandwiches in your panniers because we are going back. In 1968, a plumber working on the pipes in a Chicago apartment building found the Traub walled up in a building. It had been there for more than 50 years when it was discovered, and somehow it was in perfect condition. That's already pretty strange. An entire motorcycle stuck inside of a wall of a random building in Chicago, but the plot only thickens from there. The paint had zero rust. The tires were aired up perfectly. The damn thing still ran for Rossi's sake. It's almost like the spot inside the wall was some climate-controlled bougie motorcycle collector's spot. That can't even be said of people. You show me one person who's been walled up for 50 years and still looks pristine as the day they were walled up. One. I'll wait. Exactly. So, we have two pretty concrete clues about the Traub that have allowed motorcycle historians to fill in some of the gaps. As a side note, I'm pretty sure a motorcycle historian is a population of one. The first is a July issue of Motorcycle Illustrated from 1907. In that issue, there is a letter from a Richard Traub. In the letter, Mr. Traub describes his homemade 4-horsepower motorcycle. He also includes a photo. The letter itself was printed in the issue, so have a photo for comparison, as well as specific dimensions and engine information. Here is exactly what that letter said. Dear Sir, find the enclosed picture and specifications of a motorcycle made by myself throughout engine and all. I worked on this cycle about 1 year, putting in the time only between 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. I also worked Sundays. Specifications: wheelbase 55 inches, tank capacity 3.5 gallons, 1 gallon oil sufficient for 125 miles, power 4 horsepower, bore and stroke 3¼ by 4 inches, auxiliary gas tank, ½ gallon, speed more than the roads will stand, perfect grip control, throttle and spark motor is geared 3¾ to 1, it has a cycle chain with washers and does good service, has never troubled me yet, and I rode all of 1,500 miles. I absolutely love the fact that back then, motorcycles were so relatively uncomplicated that some guy basically decided it would be his side hustle to will an entire bike into existence from nothing. While we might find 4 horsepower a bit, let's say, anemic in 2019, the year of our Lord Rossi, where he will take the MotoGP championship, God willing, back then this was a respectable figure. You have to remember, this was over 100 years ago. The details in this letter are considered to be very similar to the Traub motorcycle found in the wall of a Chicago suburb. So, now we have a match on name, location, and an actual letter printed in Motorcycle Illustrated. Case closed, right? Well, not so fast. When the Traub motorcycle was found in 1967, the plumber and the current tenants worked to find the previous owners of the home. Now here's where things start to get a little dicey. The previous owners of the home claimed that their son had stolen the motorcycle in 1916, but it's anybody's guess as to where he would have stolen it from. The story is that the boy's father was so mad at him that he forced him to join the army. Yeesh. I'm not a historian or anything, but it's not too hard to figure out that this story has a father pushing his son to enlist in World War I, which is probably why this story ends with the son never returning. Tragic, yes, but also very convenient when you consider that the son would have been the only person with the knowledge of where the bike came from or how to return it. Let's connect some unlikely dots. The 1910 census revealed that a 27-year-old named Gottlieb Richard Traub lived on Paulina Street in Chicago, close to where the bike was found. He listed his occupation as a tool maker, and somewhere around 1917, his World War I draft registration card listed that he was a self-employed experimental machinist. Richard Traub died in 1952, so he made it through the war, but what if he is the son from the plumber's tale? And I know what you're thinking, but Yammie, the motorcycle was stolen. Why would the guy who built the motorcycle be accused of stealing it? Simple, he wasn't. There are absolutely zero police reports or other corroborating records that indicate the Traub was stolen, and if it was never reported. The Traub's technology was decades ahead of other motorcycles produced at the time, including a unique twin-brake single-can system that has not been seen on any other motorcycle to this day, which makes the Traub even stranger. Was it a bike that was transported through time? Well, as much as I'd like to believe that's science fiction myself, that's pretty unlikely, but it's fun to think about. Let's jump back to the actual motorcycle so you can see why I don't think it is at all likely. Dale Wachsler, the current owner of the Traub motorcycle, has described the engine as magnificent. The pistons are handmade with gapless cast iron rings. That kind of engineering was way ahead of its time, but let's continue the saga. At one point, Wachsler had to perform engine repairs that required him to take it apart. During the reassembly process, he said the only parts he had to fabricate were the base gaskets, which are the only gaskets in the entire engine. Let's just let that sink in a minute, because holy smokes, that is some serious mechanical engineering. It's also proof that this bike wasn't mass produced. Even in the early 1900s, people had common sense enough in technological advancements to know that hand producing mass mechanics was a no-go. In order to mass produce machinery with such small margins for clearances and etc., you need mass production. Otherwise, quality control will be a nightmare. At least I assume so. I'm no industrialist, but Papa Yam does own the finest motorcycle content empire this side of the Mississippi, yes sir! Which leads us to the second pretty concrete clue that we have: the parts on the Traub motorcycle that aren't handmade. Most of the motorcycle components are handmade, but the few that aren't have allowed curators and Wachsler to put the approximate date of the build of the bike at 1916. So what parts gave it away? The Schebler carburetor, a Bosch magneto, a Troxel jumbo seat, and the period wheel rims. That's it. The rest of the bike is completely unique and handcrafted, and decades ahead of its time. Again, we don't want to rule out time travel, but boys, it might be time travel. Take for instance the dual-acting rear brake system. It has a single cam that's responsible for pushing the internal set of expanding shoes, all while pulling the external set of contracting shoes. As far as we know, that single cam twin brake system has never been used on any other American-made motorcycle. I use the term American lightly here since Traub was actually German, he just happened to be living in the good old US of A. Leave it to a German to make a machine so expertly crafted all by himself. Typical. So what else puts this mysterious bike at the top of the technologically fascinating totem pole? Let's take a look. The Traub also boasts what might have been the first 3-speed gearbox, and maybe even more impressively, the transmission actually has 2 separate neutral positions. Whoever built this beauty must have known a thing or two about skipping gears, because the Traub's transmission has a neutral setting between each of the 3 gears. And that's not a bad idea. Large displacement engines from the early 1900s rocked a capacity of about 1,000 cc's. The Traub rocks a solid 1,278 cc's in a V-twin engine. It's kind of sad that the Traub made 4 horsepower out of 1,278 cc's, because that's less than 3 horsepower per liter. Given that most bikes can easily make over 100 horsepower per liter nowadays, we can see how far progress has come. Feels pretty good if you ask me. It also has a highly unusual adjustable crankcase breather and engine fasteners, which are completely unique to the Traub motorcycle and the mystery person or alien or time traveler who crafted it. Let's circle back. Richard Traub allegedly handcrafts a technological wonder in motorcycle work of art. Some hooligan down the street allegedly steals said masterpiece, and Papa sends him off to fight in the war as punishment. No one reports the bike stolen or looks for it. A handcrafted masterpiece. No one looks for it. No one. Not a single distraught soul whose greatest life's achievement had just been taken away. And the alleged thief is not made to return the bike, but is instead sent to war? So who bricked that thing up? the world may never know. No photographs of the exact bike or documentation seem to exist anywhere. The closest thing we have is the letter in the Motorcycles Illustrated, and even that isn't a complete match. Maybe the story of the son stealing the bike is just folklore. Maybe the bike's creator bricked it up in the wall himself to serve as a time capsule. Maybe he knew the world just wasn't ready to have a neutral gear between all the other gears. Maybe someone did steal the bike and was hardcore blackmailing Traub, and that's why he never reported it stolen. There's so many possibilities and so many things that just don't make any sense. My final theory? The very same spaceship that dumped the Kardashians off decided to even out the playing field and gave us the Traub. Now that's going to wrap it up for today, my dudes. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode. This was a bit of a different format for us, but hey, if we don't mix it up a little bit, you would get bored now and then, wouldn't you? If you liked the video, be sure to smash the subscribe button, leave me a like, leave me a comment, letting me know what you think about the Traub and its story. As always, be sure to check out our beginner bike giveaway. I have an FC07 with a full Leo Vinci exhaust system that I am giving away for free. You heard that right. And unlike the Traub, it does not make 4 horsepower. In fact, it makes nearly 80 on a good day. So click the link below to learn how you can enter to win and get started with this absolute peach of a bike. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later. Fact: the founder of Sparta used iron bars as currency to discourage hoarding wealth. Carrying even a small amount of money required a cart and 2 oxen. Something tells me that's not going to fit in a Ridge wallet. Goodbye.